The thoughts and views expressed in the following are solely the views of the individual speaking and in no way reflect the Alexandra Park Community Center, Alexandra Park Residents Association Board, Alexandra Park residents, or community members. Due to possible content and coarse language, viewers' discretion is advised.
Yeah. Hot diggity dog, they say the boy back. Grown man playing no games, no time for holdbacks. Cold raps, word to my city, the way the cold slaps. No Las Vegas been making them such a cold fact.
That's it, man. That's it. All right, so we got audio, we got video. All the levels is checked. Get right into it. It's your boy Oso, in case you ain't know so. Rhymes Oso the some, Oso the most. Host of the Culture on Culture, Let's Start the Conversation podcast. And today, I got a guest who I've been bugging for a while to sit on the podcast with me and have this conversation. Hold on, let me turn my mic down a little bit. It's a little hot. Sit down with me and have this conversation. None other than the boy Aphason. We call him Affy. You know what I mean? Welcome to the platform, my guy.
Appreciate it. We don't gotta be so formal.
Nah, not at all. Well, I mean, yes and no. You know what I'm saying. I felt besides the fact that the print shop front computer room there is being used right now, I also felt it appropriate we have this conversation in here because we've had a lot of conversations in this office here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, our conversations kind of led me to wanting to create a platform like this because I feel a lot of times when I sit and I have conversations with folks, they drift and delve into different places that I feel like the world should be aware of, that the world should hear just to get that form of insight. It's like, for example, yesterday I bumped into a young gentleman from the neighborhood. I try to say no name, no blame. You know me already, always, right? But a young gentleman from the neighborhood stopped and we were catching up or whatnot, and something that he said resonated with me, and he's like, over the years, through our conversations and through the energy and even killedness that he gets from me, it helped him. You know what I mean? Get through some things and get through some mindsets and traumas that he was dealing with post-COVID and whatnot. And that's kind of the goal, is like these conversations, as insignificant or as small or as regular as they may seem to you and I, for somebody else to be able to be the fly on the wall for that or eavesdrop for it for a little bit, it might just drop a gem for them that helps them push through for another minute, second, day, whatever it might be. You know what I mean?
I've actually been that fly for a couple of episodes that you've dropped already.
Appreciate it. Yeah, no. Again, you helped put the battery in my back when you told me that you peeped the J Body episode and the Trev episode and whatnot, and it was just like, all right, cool. Like, for me, it's all about the peers and the folks that are around me versus the folks that I may not get to meet or greet or anything like that. Like, the fact that there's that real interaction and it can still resonate like that and find its ways is what it's about. You know what I mean? So
I just want to comment on that real quick.
yeah, for sure.
I feel like sometimes it's really important to act on those feelings where it's like, if you feel like something resonates with you, I feel like it's important to reach out to that person or that creator to let them know that they're doing a good job or that you resonate with that. I feel like it goes a long way. And it can be some great encouragement to help them keep going. And it only takes a second out of our day to do so. So I just think that's why I see you doing some good stuff over here. So I just felt the need to comment on it.
Appreciate it. And especially coming from an artist lens. So I'm going to say this from the artist lens as well. Like, what you just said is extremely important, from the fact that that's more vital a currency than even money at certain points in times. You know what I mean? Like, I know for me, for example, when people like we had the Black 365 event the other day, and when I get approached afterwards, it's like, yo, when is that song dropping? Or where's that song? Or where can I listen to that? That does more for me than even that sale of whatever that CD or that song or that download might be. Just knowing that somebody actually was listening to it and it resonated with them and struck a chord, that means more. So what you said means a lot to people on a general basis, but especially to artists. Like there are a lot of artists out there who create music and they do their thing, and as peers, as friends, as folks around them, if it's something that you vibe with, leave a comment.
Yeah, especially if you know each other, especially if you're friends, especially if you're family.
Well, I mean, I'm careful in the way that I say that because I don't want to put an obligation on anybody. You know what I mean? If it resonates with you, it resonates with you. I don't want you to gas people up just for gassing them up. But if it genuinely, if you know the person and it genuinely resonates with you,
then yeah,
absolutely,
you should.
Because it means more. Yeah. Like to know that you took time and actually watched a podcast episode means a lot because you can do a lot with your time.
Of course,
you know what I mean. So to say that it was, you know what, let me pay some attention to this because attention is the ultimate currency, right? So to pay attention like that, it means a lot, and yeah, that did put the battery in my back to create the next episode and keep creating episodes. Absolutely.
Did you also receive comments from other people, or like were others giving you like feedback or?
I did receive some comments, but there's something different about the fact of what you said and what you did, which is actually reach out. It wasn't just in passing. You know what I'm saying? So in passing, it might be like, oh yeah, by the way, da 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 da.
It wasn't on the forefront of your mind.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was something that came up because you saw me, so now I'm front of mind. It's like, oh yeah, by the way. But to take that time out from whatever it is that you're doing to shoot that message, I don't take that for granted. I don't take those things for granted.
And it doesn't happen a lot.
No, those are rare occurrences.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't say that to slight anybody or fault anybody because there's certain times I do the same thing where I'll hear something or I'll see something and I'll mean to comment on it and I don't.
We're all guilty of it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's times where I actually do. Where I try and all in all, I try to do my best to acknowledge great work when I see it or great effort, I'll say when I see it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with this podcast, I never really have any general agenda with anybody.
Yeah.
As you know, it just is about conversation. But
by the way, can the mic be this far away from me? Is that cool?
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I have the mic recording at a good level, so it should pick you up regardless. But just I'm a microphone guy, so I gotta hold it properly. I ain't gonna cup it. I ain't gonna, I gotta display technique and sing, But in coming back to the community, one of the initial, I want to say young people. I don't want to say young. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you feel comfortable, but I'll say young people that I was introducing coming back here, and one of the things that I know you've heard me say this that stood out to me is the fact that you're on your own wave, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like you're not following the crowd in any aspects. You don't really pay attention to the mainstream thing very often, if at all. But you lock in, and when you lock in, like it's there isn't any half stepping about it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm sure as you'd express it's to a fault, but it's one thing that resonated with me and it stood out, and I appreciate because it's so easy, even myself, to get distracted by a social media, get distracted by a phone call, get distracted by I love my NBA basketball. That takes hours out of your day if you try to watch game after game and whatnot. So it stood out to me, the discipline that you have to keep the main thing. Like how do you feel you developed that, or has it always been like that for you?
Wow, you kind of left me starstruck. I appreciate that because you could go pretty deep with that, or you could keep it kind of surface level, or like I'll just say this, um, growing up, growing up, I was a bit sheltered, so because I grew up sheltered and my focus was deviate towards my studies, I think from that I just picked up the ability to kind of just stay focused on what needs to get done at a certain point in time. Back then it was studies, or like right now it might be like, getting through my degree, or making sure like I'm exercising consistently, or working on my next video project. I just feel like during my upbringing, me being sheltered, me not really being exposed to too many parts of the world, growing up, I didn't develop interest for those fields that I weren't really introduced to. That makes sense. But it did come at a cost, in that I can be a bit naive in some areas. Um, but I try to use that to my strength, and I try to be inquisitive, ask questions, curious, learn stuff from people who may know more than me. So yeah, honestly, it's really just a day-to-day process. I find. Just,
Sorry.
no, yeah, and just honestly, sometimes I also feel like it's important to just slow down. Um, and as cause you mentioned like mainstream and all that. The thing about like mainstream and like all these social platforms, especially like the first thing that comes to my mind is like Twitter or like X. Um, the news and the updates are so frequent. Sometimes you don't have time to slow down, and sometimes you need those moments to slow down and reflect wherever you are in life, really. Just slow down, ask yourself, am I happy with where I am right now? Ask yourself those questions, detour if you need to, stay focused, all that.
There was, I was gonna go something you said, but I lost it. I'm sure it'll pop back up in my head at a point in time. Because there is a lot to unpack with what you said.
Yeah, it was a pretty broad question, so I try to go piece by piece there.
So one of the things I was going to speak about, there's two parts. There was the asking questions part and the naivety,
Yeah.
right? It's something I go back and forth with because I don't necessarily see being naive as a bad thing, only because it's still that genuine innocence of believing the best of
course,
people
yeah.
and taking people for their word, and I feel it's important. Like I feel the same way at times when I battle it, but I feel it's important to maintain that because it's important not to prejudge folks or to allow people to prove you right or wrong in a sense. Like I understand the fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me mentality, but being somebody who has grown and developed over years and made a ton of mistakes in my life.
You and me both.
I appreciate the fact that there have been folks who have been willing to gamble on me again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't call it naivety. I'd call it grace. You know what I mean? I think I like to allow people grace at certain point in times to a certain extent. I got to protect myself to an extent, obviously.
There needs to be a balance in that.
Right? But, that's just my thought towards the being naive part. I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. I more look upon the people who take advantage of that as a bad thing versus the people that are. You know what I mean?
And I feel like as you go through life, you learn how to like discern between the two, and you kind of get to, through experience, trials and tribulations. I find that you're better at picking up on that, and yeah.
And when somebody's in their genuine nature versus trying to spin some wool on you and thing. Another thing that you said, which is another key to one of the things I appreciate about you is the fact that you are very willing to ask questions.
I actually get that a lot from a lot of people.
Yeah, because and I want and recognize that, understand how rare that is. Like there are a ton of people who would much rather remain silent and ignorant than ask questions and gain information.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's even some young folks who have, and you know, all y'all are young folks to me, like, like all y'all are young folks to me. But there have been some young folks that come through the building and they don't like every so often somebody like yourself, somebody like Trevor who's been on the pod, certain folks will sit down and, you know, we'll have conversations and they'll ask questions, and I'm an open book. I'm here to provide whatever information I have, but too often I find folks afraid to ask or embarrassed to ask because they don't want to look away in front of friends, or they think I might judge them in a certain fashion. And yeah, like that's an impressive characteristic to have, is being willing. As simple as it might seem, it is an impressive characteristic to have that willingness and ability to not only be curious but to ask the questions that cause the curiosity.
I think I actually undermined it a lot because I've had it since as long as I can remember. I was always like this. So I maybe I kind of overlook it, but yeah, I can see like it can be. It's a pretty valuable like character trait I would find, and I feel like a lot of it is removing yourself from the ego. If you know you're lacking in a certain area, like I know I'm lacking in some areas. I don't know how to do some mobility stuff. Let me ask folks in the gym how to do a certain movement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it really is that simple.
Yeah.
But for some folks, it isn't, and it's because of the main thing you mentioned, which is the ego, and the ego will get in your way a lot.
Trying to look a certain, like you said, trying to look a certain way. What are we doing?
No, for real though, man. Being on top of your ego is important because, like, if the is the goal to get better or to look better?
That's it.
It's funny. Like, there's a few different ways that I want to go with this. So right now you're working on your master's. You said. Sorry, you're working on your.
Finishing my degree.
Yeah, you're finishing your degree. Sorry, I said master's. I'm jumping you ahead. I'm jumping you ahead.
Not yet.
What is it you're studying again?
Information technology. Yeah.
Got you. How is that rolling? How is that going with you and thing? You still as intrigued and passionate about it as it initially started?
Not as. I think as I've gone through my education, I've been finding interest in other things. But I do feel like this is something that, like, I had a conversation with my sister about it last year. I feel like it's important to start to finish what you start. So I'm just sticking it out, and then I'm gonna see what happens afterwards.
There's definitely something to be said about completing the journey that you start.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, it can be hard sometimes because, you know, it's important. I find that it's important to have the mentality of finishing what you start, but it also depends on the situation, the context, right? Sometimes it is better to just walk away. It really just depends on the context. But in this situation, yeah, just finish it. Yeah.
No, by all means, man. Context is key. Life is tricky because it'll present you options, and every option is a double-edged sword that has its bonuses and its negatives, right? But in seeing it through, it's you're getting past those hurdles and stuff that might distract you, and then you might fall in love with it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Or you might not, but at least now you know for sure.
You might find something else down the road. Yeah.
In be There goes the bell. The school. For all the folks hearing in the background, we're in my office, which is in the gym right now. So the school age folks are about to start class right now, and that's what that bell is. The training begins. Another conversation for another day. So every so often, me and you will get into our conversations because I'm a music guy. You not so much. But but there are certain artists that you do pick up and gravitate to. What is I ain't gonna bring up any artists or get into any of that,
Yeah.
but how do you go about selecting what you choose to listen to versus what you don't?
It's a very good question.
I try to come up with one or two.
Shit. Very simple. The vibe, the message. Is it fun? I like to listen to music that kind of uplifts my spirit. Nowadays, I'm trying to be more conscious of what I'm feeding my brain in terms of like the content and the message. So, I've been listening to a lot of Tribe. Tribe, they got like a lot of funky beats and stuff. It's fun. They're just rapping. Like, yeah. I just try to be mindful of the types of things that I'm digesting music wise. Yeah.
Is there any I agree wholeheartedly, and we talked about this. I agree wholeheartedly. I definitely indulge more than you do.
Not to say that there's anything wrong with it.
Well, this is the thing. I actually do think there is an issue with overindulging, and as a society, and a culture, different conversation. Well, no, we might get into it, but as a society and as a culture, I feel we overindulge in a lot of the influence you even see on my wall here, which
we've talked about it.
Like it's this is a very purposeful backdrop that I put up, not just because it reflects my past, but it also creates an excellent talking point. You know what I mean, for people who may be fans or take issues with all of or some of the people on the wall. You know what I mean?
I commented to you before about why you have certain posters up, and to summarize what you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to summarize what you said, it's a part of the history.
10,000%.
Yeah.
10,000%. It's part of a history, and it's a great opportunity for me to speak about some of my former heroes. Right, and I say former heroes because a lot of my heroes now are all people who are in proximity to me.
Wow.
Simply because I can actually say I know these people, right? And I know them on a genuine level versus a lot of these people on the wall I've never met, I might never meet. And in the cases where you do get to find out more about some of these folks, they're not who you really think that they are, right? So that's the reason why I reflect former heroes, and that's the reason why I feel it's important to have a lot of these folks on the walls, because with I can't even say with young people. With people today, we put a lot of emphasis, or we give a lot of these folks power and privilege, right? And I don't think we realize how much power we actually give these folks over ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is where I agree with you. It's very important in the content that you're listening to, whatnot, because, excuse me, I can guarantee you there's a lot of people who are influenced by a Snoop Dogg or influenced by Ice Cube or a Birdman or a Master P or a Tupac, especially a Tupac, for better or for worse. It's just how do I exactly want to say this? I don't feel it's evenly distributed the persona of these individuals, and I feel like commercially they take advantage of commercially it's taking advantage of what is ultimately the people's downfall. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it's just it's weird to me how we'll look and we'll talk about the different things that plague society, but then at the same time provide gratification for the folks who do it the most
Yeah.
often and the biggest and the loudest, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a weird dynamic.
It is weird.
um like I purposefully try not to listen to certain things, but subconsciously it'll come on and I start jamming to
I mean,
it.
like if it's what you grew up with, there's a sense of nostalgia there. So it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
um but then with that being said, like I know as an individual I'm somebody who tries to push this, but it just always makes me wonder why it isn't more commonplace to kind of push that. I understand it's nostalgia, but this is more the wave that we should be on.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I was on Instagram yesterday and I was going by a Toronto page and they were highlighting um artists and stuff from like the early to mid 2000s from the city. And this was before drill music and whatnot, but the amount of gunplay talk and the this talk, it was just like, wow, man. Like, but then we'll look and we'll wonder why these youth are going
mm,
wild and nuts. You know what I mean, and whatnot. But also not looking back. Okay, well, what was the influence that we were getting from the 2000s? Was influenced by somebody. The late 90s
yeah,
was influenced by somebody. The mid 90s was influenced. Where was this influence, and why do we keep backing it and standing behind it like it was like ain't nothing like the 90s, nothing compared to the 90s? Do we really take in and listen to what the like there's a Tribe Called Quest out there? Yes, there was more diversity. But if we're really listening to the pain and the stories and the trauma and the stuff that's in there, like I get the nostalgia, but there also has to be a careful line of how much we
you want to
glamorize these
glamorize and
people.
indulge in
You know
it.
what I mean? Like
Yeah,
this was that dude, and this is my and this is ill, and it's like I get it, but at the same time, I don't think we're taking an accountability and responsibility over what impression that is giving somebody younger.
yeah.
You know what I mean? On when we're talking about, yo, Jay-Z was that dude, and da, 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 you
But
got to
but
do it
but
like
but
this.
but,
But
but
it's
why
like,
was he
okay,
that dude?
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
why was he that dude? Yeah.
like, what was he really speaking of? What are we really praising and highlighting?
Mm,
Like, that was real,
that's good.
right?
What are we really praising?
What are we really praising? And I I personally try to take responsibility of it, especially when I'm talking with my young guys or whatnot,
Of course.
and I'm like, yeah, like, um, I am gonna go there. So, like, for an example, one of them was like, "Yo, loves 50 Cent," and I'm like, I don't rate that guy, and I don't rate him because there's a certain morality that is just disregarded in order to make those steps to success,
Hmm.
right? So, like, I remember when I was watching 106 and he said information live on TV that you shouldn't say, and that's a big reason why his competition at the time ended up going away. but because he's diamond and he's got the G Unit showing this, and there's all this, there's the money attached, and he's a billionaire. People are willing to forget.
All like everything is excused.
It's all good, right? It's and so many, and not only do I see it with the artists, I see it in neighborhoods as well, where you might know that dude is the robber man, but because you grew up with him, that's my dude though. I know he be robbing people, but that's my guy though. No, he be robbing people. That's not a good person.
Bias.
Right? And there's the bias there, but it's the message that it sends. Right? What's the stop now the young boy from the hood to say, I should be a robber man like him? What are we setting that young boy up for?
There's a difference between loving someone, and just because you love someone doesn't mean you have to love their actions. Yeah. You can disagree with something that someone does even though you like them.
And I mean, like, shout out to J Body, but he says he had a saying that he said on the podcast that always stuck with me, and I love it, where he's like, yo, I'm with you when you right. And growing up in the hood, it's right or wrong, I'm with you. And then we'll deal with it afterwards. And I think I understand the sentiment of it, but at the core of it, it's standing behind that wrong behavior because you love that person.
And then you have to, there might be points where you have to also may take that punishment too.
Ultimately, and it's not be some point in time you will you will have to deal with the repercussions for that, and we do in these neighborhoods. A lot of the problems in these neighborhoods stems from somebody being wrong, not want to own being wrong, and people standing behind that wrong to carry that wrong on for generations upon generations upon generations. I don't care what neighborhood you talk about, whether you're talking about here in Toronto, whether you're talking about Ontario, whether you're talking about North America, wherever there is somebody who is wrong and they don't want to hold accountability for it. And the people around them will stand behind them and try and be wrong and strong out of love and solidarity and whatnot. But I don't think that's genuine love. I think that's more fear than anything else.
Wow.
My personal opinion.
Yeah. That's profound.
As I always I try to speak honestly.
When you love someone, you'll let them know if they're doing something wrong, or like that's just the thing to do. Just be honest with it.
I feel so. Like I want to genuinely see people thrive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. What you mentioned in the beginning about like I don't really like to up myself, but like how you said, like I don't really like follow the wave or whatever. That's like following the crowd. That's the cost of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like you feel the need to agree with everything. You feel the need to not question anything or like question little. It can be dangerous.
That kind of reminds me to when I sat down with Benzo, Ronaldo, and he was talking about the lone wolf mentality, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. Is like, you kind of got to be willing to walk alone at points and times until you meet folks who are like minded.
I wouldn't even say all that. Honestly, just do what's best for you.
Mm. The only reason I say that is because, like, as a dude who grew up here, like, there is a desire to be one of the guys and be part of the crew or whatnot. And I think that's where the whole term peer pressure comes from, right? You want to be along with the peers, and sometimes the thing that you feel is best for yourself will have you feeling isolated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's usually how it plays out.
Right. So that's where, and so again, in talking with Ronaldo, he was talking about sometimes like you need to go to the gym, but the boys don't want to go to the gym. Are you gonna skip the gym because you want to hang out with the boys, or are you gonna make the gym because you know what your goal is?
Hello.
Right. And sometimes that's a much tougher decision. I know me growing up, it was a much tougher decision than it is now as an adult. Right.
You got kids.
Well, I mean, even prior to having kids, like I don't.
I'm sorry.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you're not wrong. I'm just saying, I don't have those kids if I don't start making those decisions for myself.
Mm.
Right. Like, and so that brings up a very important point. Quite often in life, as people, we wanna see the opportunity before we get prepared for it. When in actuality, you have to be prepared for the opportunity before it gets presented to you.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I'm saying, like, I had to isolate and make those decisions. I had to do that in order to start aligning myself to be in a position to be provided the opportunities that I've been given to have the kids, to be with the person, to have the kids, to like all of those things I had to work on the things in order to be prepared. So when those opportunities presented, I knew how to act. I knew how to conduct myself.
And not everyone's gonna agree with your preparation. Not everyone's gonna agree with it.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Which is okay. Right. And that's like one thing that I've learned and starting to pay attention to more and more is the fact that like disagreements are okay. The other side is okay.
Yeah.
Like my way isn't going to be your way and vice versa. And that's cool.
We're just inherently different people.
Right? And it's part of that beautiful thing they call free will. Some will debate whether it's free will or not. I don't debate that. All I know is that I can't force you to do anything that you don't want to do, nor should I try.
Same goes for me too.
Right? The most I can do is when the spirit calls it, say what needs to be said, and then leave it with you to make whatever decision you make. That's your individual powers, the decision that you make and do with your time and your energy and your space. Like that is your power. I do my best not to try and infringe on that for anybody else. Oh, how simple life can be when you break it down.
I feel as though it's not that complicated. It's just what's hard is doing the things that you don't want to do, but you gotta do them anyway.
Well, one of my favorite sayings is "What is hard, man." Somebody else, like, there's folks who will look at 400 pounds and be like, "Yo, that's hard to bench." Somebody else is doing 15 reps, no problem, right? But what doesn't get spoken about is to get to that 500 pounds, 15 reps. It started somewhere.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
what we forget a lot of the time. Yeah.
Like you talked about going to the gym, and I'm proud of your dedication for that. You know what I mean? Because it's just being dedicated. Never mind what your gains are. Never mind your progression. Just the battle of getting up and going in each day is something that should be applauded and not applaud. Like, who cares if I applaud it? But as the individual who does it, you should applaud yourself for doing that, for picking a goal for yourself and staying dedicated to it and seeing it through.
Of course. And I had a lot of help with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned J Body, you mentioned T.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks from the community, they helped me out. And having a community really helped a lot. Because it showed me I wasn't alone in that. And that really goes for anything too. Like, having, oh, yeah, community, having people that like push you to do better in a specific area, that's powerful. Crazy powerful.
Energy, man. Energy, like energy is incredible when you understand how to use it properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you put your energy into the right places. You said you got a lot of help. Nobody makes it nowhere without help. Right?
Say it again.
Nobody makes it anywhere without help. You have to get help to get anywhere in
Hello.
life. I think the again, you have to help yourself first. Right? So before J Body or Trevor, even me, because I remember early on it was just like, yo, just and shout out to Bonza too. Like, yo, start with a push up. You know what I mean? Who cares? Start with a push up. Start with a one pull up. Start with an assisted pull up. Start wherever it is that you feel ready to start at, and then just progressively try and improve from there. And once you start doing that, then okay, somebody sees you doing some push-ups when they're like, oh, you know what, maybe you should do this to help your form out, this, that, okay, boom. And then somebody sees you running or whatnot, they're like, yo, you like to run, okay, maybe you should come running with me, this, that, and now you got somebody, a run partner and thing. So, you know, when you start making those steps, you'll be surprised at how quickly the universe is like, oh, here's somebody to help you with this, here's an opportunity to do this, and then from there, you still got to make the decision to take advantage of it.
I will say too, what helps, like what works for me is like you can worry about the specifics later, as long as you'll figure things out as you go along. You just gotta take the steps. You know what I'm saying? If you want to finish a book, you gotta read the first page. Same idea.
It's funny. It's like you in my brain, because I was thinking about this stuff earlier. In the sense of too many people, myself included at a point in time, want to have a finished product or you know what I mean, a polished product before they actually present anything or start anything. Like I've said it before on the pod here, like initially I wanted to have a camera here, a camera there, have somebody in the booth there, edit it this way, this, that, and the third. And having all those expectations for the way it was going to be presented just kept hindering stuff.
Wow.
Versus when I was just like, man, I'm gonna grab this meeting now. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna put some mics in there. I'm gonna record on this laptop. I'm gonna just throw it together. And
I love that.
It now at least the pod is there, the ideas is there, the you know, the imagination has been brought to life. Now it can evolve. Now it can be like, you know what?
Foundation.
Yeah, you know what? I wanna be a part of that. Hit me up and let me know next time, and maybe I can film something or whatnot, or it just transitions into other stuff, which me and Mosin and the rest of the team are talking about doing. Like, so yeah, like you said, what you said is extremely important. It ain't got to be fine tuned. You just got to work at it and let it evolve from there. And
I want to comment on what you just said with the stew, because I seen this place and it was in its first iterations.
Correct.
None of this, the posters or none of this was here. The computers.
The room wasn't even here.
Yeah, I saw this like in development. So it was like, I wasn't there for every step of the way, but I saw some of your milestones. And yeah, no, you took the time to build this.
Absolutely. You know what's crazy to me, and it just hit me the other day after the Black 365 event, and it actually hit me while the event was going on. I manifested this 20 years ago.
Talk to me.
Like, I remember more than 20 years ago when I think about it, but I remember like being 18, 19 and saying, man, I wanna you know, have a at that time it was a record label. I want to be able to put on artists, different artists from the community, and put on the guys and stuff. And I want to be able to put on events and shows in the community center here and have people from wherever come to the community center and see the talent in the building and just put AP on. And then I'm sitting here the other day doing Black 365 and
Oh, and this was like here in the community, like here.
yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm like 18,
Yeah,
19 years old
wow.
running around as a
Yeah.
knucklehead over here. You know what I mean? And it's what I wanted to do. It's just the steps that I was doing. Like, so now in retrospect, I understand why it wasn't working because the music wasn't the main thing. Everything else was the main thing to try and push the music. Whereas in this iteration, like it's the main thing started with music and it slowly just evolved to the point where now for this like for that event, like I was able to be a part of curating it and bringing in the lighting and designing the space and putting the artist list together and getting the equipment and the sound set up and the stage set up and everything and like having. And then the surreal moment was actually having the community members in the building, having my young guys in there on stage and doing the sound and helping with the setup and whatnot. And it was just like, yo, dude, you don't realize this is what you was picturing 20 years ago. You actually did it. And it took that time. It's not exactly how I envisioned it, but it's somehow better. Like I envisioned it being this big, dramatic, but it actually felt so much better being as genuine and as wholesome as it was with the people that were here and the way it all came together. Like, I wouldn't trade it in any other way. And to see that manifestation, to be able to build a studio. You talked about the first iteration. It was a table with a with a old laptop.
I took a picture of it on my old phone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a picture somewhere. It went from that, and then it got tucked into what's now the booth there, and then the control room was finally built, and then started getting the equipment and whatnot, and it's just evolved, man, and it's a beautiful thing for me to experience. It's a beautiful thing for me to be able to bring back here and be able to show folks. Because I learned that lesson a long time ago. People are watching. You just never know who and when they're actually watching, right? So to know that now this precedent has been set, I'm excited to see where it goes because I know the precedent that was set for me, I've extended it and brought it forward. So to see where them young folks is gonna take this and run with it in the future is I'm excited for it, man.
I actually wanted to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
This whole process of building, or like your dream of just building the studio, doing the events, just connecting with more artists. Um, what was like the hardest part of this for you?
Um,
Sorry to put you on the
check it.
spot.
No. I'm trying to figure out exactly how to word this, but it ultimately came down to checking my ego. And I say that because I had to get to a point where I had to be accountable in the fact that I was like, oh, I was idolizing the wrong things. I was praising and putting value in the wrong things. Um, I was making mistakes. I wasn't viewing things correctly. I had to readjust myself. Right? I had to essentially do my best to go back to zero and then fine tune everything from there. Right?
The preparation.
Yeah, like
Preparation.
cuz like when you grow up in areas like you grew up here, you go to schools like you go to here, a larger percentage are going to slip through the cracks than actually stay above ground. Right? And a big part of that is because of the way that it's I say set up. There's good some say it's theories or whatever, but I feel the way that things are set up is not exactly set up for you to be the best you. Right? It's set up for you to fit in to something. Right? I wrote something the other day where I was talking about this exact concept, but it's being part of the gang, being part of the boys, being part of you are brought up to try and fit in. You're not really brought up to fit out or stand out or it, or be an individual. You know what I'm saying? Like that isn't exactly
It's not the cool thing.
it's not the cool thing. It's kind of I wouldn't say frowned upon, but it's just it's looked at as weird. It's looked at as
Like there's a weirdo.
right. You're like this guy's always trying to be different and whatnot, and so with that you adopt certain mentalities and whatnot. It took me having to go back and acknowledge that the wool had been pulled over my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and that a lot of what I thought was cool wasn't really cool. And a lot of the things that I thought was success wasn't really success.
And that's where you had to check your ego, do the self-adjusting, all that.
I'm saying because
Yeah.
nobody wants to admit that they were wrong. No,
It's
especially
not-
nobody wants to admit that they were taken advantage of, or that they were made a fool out of, or they were tricked. Right? Nobody like it's magicians are magicians for a reason, right? But nobody wants to feel that they fell for the trick. Everybody wants to act like they get the trick or whatnot, or they need to figure out. And it's like,
Right.
it happens. Sometimes you get got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was the part of the ego that I had to deal with, was understanding, yo, okay, I got. I fell for it. You know what I mean? Like,
For the trap.
so part of the thing is, again, you look at all of these images, none of this is natural. Every single one of these things is curated. Every single one of these images got
calculated.
Okay, you're gonna stand like this. We're gonna put this backdrop where this designer is gonna bring these clothes. You're gonna do this. You're gonna pose like this. No smiling because you can't look. You gotta look like
tough.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything is so curated, and I bought it. I wholeheartedly bought it. I believe that that's how these people really are. That's how life really is, and that's how it was functioning. It took a lot for me to actually say, you know what? Nah, that's all fake.
Yeah.
So I believed in all kind of fake. I mirrored and emulated a lot of fake. Okay, cool. Now that I've acknowledged that, what is real? Who determines that? Oh, I gotta determine that. Got it. Okay. All right. So what's real to me? What do I think is real? What is? And then it start going down that rabbit hole, and then that's how I slowly rebuilt myself from zero to who I am becoming at this point in time, because I'm not done. I'm still evolving.
Say it again.
Right?
You ask yourself those tough questions.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I know there's some people who think that I'm harsh, or that in this head here, it doesn't get any harsher. It doesn't get any harsher than the way that I speak to myself, the questions I ask to myself, the honesty I demand from myself. It gets no harsher than that. But with that being said, that's where I feel like I can have these open and honest conversations, because I'm not going to get embarrassed. You're not going to make me feel any way about anything that I've said. It's the honest truth. And if majority of people are being honest, they probably feel similar.
Right.
But which is where I say being on this pod, and why I was on you to be on this pod, like everybody is afraid of being judged, and it's like, who cares? We're all being judged, and we're all judging. Who cares? I'm judging you. I'm judging you
at all times.
I'm judging your decisions. And then based on that, I'm gonna rank myself. Who cares? I'm me. You're you. Your life is your life. My life is my life. What is meant for me is meant for me. What is meant for you is meant for you. Right? I don't look down on anybody. I don't look up to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
and that is extremely important to me, and that's extremely important that um especially my young guys, I need them to understand, like, even just people in general, certain people like, yo, I want to be like this one dude that I work with. Every time he sees me, he's like, boss man, I want to be like you. I'm like, bro, be like you. You don't want to be like me. And one day I put him to the side. I'm like, you want to be like me? All right, come. You're gonna help this dude out. And we went to work, and he was helping dude out, and I jumped in and I outpaced him. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then he went back. He's like, nah, I don't want to be like you no more. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Too often we look at folks and we want to be like them, but we have no idea
Who
what
they
their
actually are.
what their size, shoe
Yeah.
size is, how many steps they had to walk in, or whether they took an elevator,
What they had
whether
to
they
do.
just swam through the mud
Yeah.
with gators. We don't know. But it looks good to us because we know what our life is, and it seems hard to us.
I find that you'll never truly know who someone is behind closed doors. But who someone is behind closed doors will be reflected in how they act when they're in their day to day.
10,000%.
Yeah.
10,000%.
It will be reflected.
10,000%. Like I said, hard is you determine what it is, and what I think is hard is somebody else's easy, and vice versa. Right? So I'll deal with my hard scenarios and my easy scenarios the same exact way, and the exact same energy, appreciation, and
There
gratitude.
it is.
Right? Because whatever it is, it's going to build me to be who I'm supposed to be for tomorrow.
Or you driving too many gems right now. Gotta slow down.
Nah, man. Conversations are dope.
Of course.
Conversations are dope. Going through this community shift and this revite, what has your feelings been about the process so far as you see it?
That's a good question.
Mm.
One thing I would like to comment on, after being to a couple of Revite meetings, it made me realize how much thought actually went into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, also because I'm doing animator work right now.
Mm.
During the beginning of our training, we like the roles of the departments of TCHC and what have you. It was all broken down to us, and there was like a lot of people working behind the scenes, and it was great attending some of the Revite meetings because I'm not admittedly I'm not like super what's the word I'm looking for, like I'm not in there, but just going to a couple, like it was pretty interesting to listen to.
Mm.
At first I was going, as it was an obligation of the position, but just being to like 3 or 4 of them, like it was actually pretty interesting. So I mean, I think the process in terms of like what they've actually produced, like the condos and everything, look good.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm for it. Question:
Mm.
Is the community center? Where will the new AP be located?
So it's kind of, the idea is, you see the area. So there's what do you want to call it? There's the houses that's at Nappity Court by the ball court.
Yeah.
The backyards.
The backyards of those.
In that backyard area, that open grass area, pretty much from those backyards over to where 73 Augusta building is.
Whoa.
From Paul Lane to about where in the middle of the walk there, when you start going into Nappany Court there.
Yeah, that's a
So
bit of
you know
yeah.
That's roughly the square footage of where it's going to be. So it's going to be a much larger facility than it is today. Like, I think 3 or 4 times the size of this facility.
Yeah, no, that's
here.
pretty large.
So it's going to be a very decent sized facility when it finally does come around, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not holding my breath on it because it's still the process is it's a slow, long, drawn out process.
Yeah. There's a lot of steps to it, a lot of planning, and like it's super, like it's intricate because like one of the things they were breaking down in one of the meetings I remember is like how like the moving process itself, where like groups are moved at certain times, and there's just a lot of steps, and it takes a lot of time to operate and like actually implement.
Um, I'm glad that you went to the meetings because one of the things that has always been brought up and highlighted is the lack of young people that are actually in the meetings and involved with the meetings. From yourself and being like, I know I've attended the meetings and whatnot. Um, it's not a dance part. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be the most fun, but it's not as intimidating as it seems either.
And I feel like you could pick up a thing or two, right?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, the one thing is that I think gets lost is as somebody like yourself, as somebody who still resides and live in the community, you have a say on what happens.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I don't think enough of the young folks in the community, like I know this, I don't think that enough of the young folks in the community realize how much of a say they actually have, especially if they pull up and show up to these meetings, right? Um, if you don't go to these meetings, somebody's got to make a decision regardless. You know what I mean? And sometimes the folks that actually do attend the meetings don't have the young folks' best interest at heart. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. They have their best interest at heart, but they don't exactly identify that with them enough to know exactly what their
This
interests
is true.
are.
Yeah.
Right?
There's basically there's not enough like youth representation.
Definitely not. I feel like the youth representation should be a lot stronger. Is like, how do you think bridging that gap is possible? That is like the $10 million question: is how to get these youth engaged with this process and with the decision making, so that when the next phases of this community, especially the community center, starts getting built, it reflects who they are, and also keeping in mind that this might be on a modest scale 5 years down the line, but this might be 10 years down the line, right? So how old are you going to be at that time? Will you have kids? What will your kids need? Facilities will you need? Like, these are things that need to be thought about and addressed and brought to the table. And I don't think the young folks who are, you know, 16, 17, 18 and upwards are really thinking about the fact that they're going to be maybe 27, 28, 29, 30 when this community center is built. What are you going to need at that point in time? What are the things that you would want it to have? And you have the ability to make those says and ask at this time.
It's a big question.
Right? But yes, how to intrigue them into getting involved in the process first and foremost.
So the way that I kind of did it, just be active in the community. Volunteer for stuff. Work a position, work summer camp, work lunch delivery, work after school. Just volunteer, help around the building, meet the people. The more time you spend in the community and just like helping out, the more these things will be naturally exposed to you. I find like if you're not for more of the youth, I would everything good.
I got this ghetto plug here, so there it goes. Yeah, my battery was just about to die on that jump off, which would have been a tragedy. That would have been a tragedy. We're good.
So yeah, the way I did it, it was just like naturally over time, me being in the building, whether for volunteering, for work, or just to hang out. You just get to know the people. You go through opportunities. Naturally, you'll just become more aware of the things going on. And honestly, that's probably, I don't really have like a super deep answer. I would probably just say to you, just take on more responsibility here, and it, you know what I'm saying, like.
I'll be real with you. The thing I love about your answer is it kind of goes back to something that we were speaking about earlier, and it's the fact that you actually gotta
You
make
actually
the
gotta
initial
like
investment.
if you're not around here, you wouldn't be aware of the things going on. It's that simple.
It's doing that work prior to, and then opportunities present themselves. So
Yeah.
you being the perfect example. That's like I created a studio program. I needed some folks to work in the studio program, and BB's like, yo, I got this dude, and you were one of the peoples, and
That was a lifetime ago.
right, and you came through, and from there it was just like, all right, there's this going on. You want to come through, sure, and you came through and you did that, and you ended up doing the lunch deliveries, and then that led into the summer camp stuff, and then it transit like, and it just kept transitioning into other opportunities, and the animator something is something else that came up, and it's at a point with in volunteering and being around, we also get to learn your character and the person that you are, and you're somebody that we love having in the building. We love recommending. We love providing opportunities because we know in being presented an opportunity, one, you're not going to take it for granted. You're going to take full advantage of it. But you're also going to be wholehearted about it and be like, you know what, this might not be for me right now. I can't do this. Or you know what, I am going to do it. And you're not going to take it for granted. You're going to put your full effort into it. Yeah. And it's just great to see that based upon that, now you got a chance to be informed about the different events going on, about the different scholarships that might be happening, about the Revite working groups and when they're happening, and sit in the table and see how that happens. And now you've met different members of TCH and Tridel and who's responsible for this and whatnot, and all of these things go a long way. Exactly. Versus point, because I'll be here in the building and somebody will ask me about something, and I'm like, all right, I can steer the information towards you, or I can steer the proper person towards you, but that's about all I can do, because I'm not actually a resident. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have a say. I'm a.
And I just want to say too, I know you were a resident when you were younger, but it's just the irony of you doing all of this. You made a pretty big impact here during your time here, and you're not even like a proper resident. It's pretty funny. Well, in a good way.
Like I'm not a resident, but I am a community member, and I'm always gonna be a community member. AP is it's damn near in my skin, so I'm always gonna be a community member forever. But more importantly, like I genuinely have a passion to see people in general, but especially people from here thrive, right? And especially the young people, because I remember being a young person out here and believing the misconceptions about the area and what you can accomplish coming from an area like this, and just buying into the narratives and the mindsets. And again, going back to check myself and my ego and be like, man, none of that's true. That ain't like, that might be what the case was for so-and-so, but that ain't gotta be you. You know what I mean? You have the ability to dictate your narrative, to dictate your position and what your status is going to be for the future. And that's my why. And keeping that the primary thing, it's hard for me to get distracted or swayed from that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, like for the young folks, like y'all have so much power. Y'all just got to get involved in the right things.
Just put your best foot forward. Show up when no one invited you.
Right? well, I mean, you're always invited. You're technically always invited, but no.
That came out wrong. I think I'm more so meant like show up when no one asked for help. That's what I meant.
Yeah, no, and by all means, like the volunteering aspect is key. That's one thing that I can say. Mosin and Herman were on here the previous episode, and all of us volunteered at points and times. Yes. You know what I mean? And that's something that I picked up from them. And they provided me opportunities to do, and it's paying for it till this day. Like we laugh about it, but Trevor was one of the first graders when I was doing co-op in high school and stuff. You know what I mean? And that helped cultivate a different side of the relationship. We knew each other from the block, but that was just that presented a different image of me to him. You know what I mean? And also presented a different form of responsibility to me that I didn't think I had
Yeah.
at the point in time. Um, which is something else that helped me get to this point. Besides checking my ego, is understanding that I am somebody's hero. I am somebody's role model. I am somebody's influence. Not only be proud of that, but um like acknowledge it. Like,
Embrace it.
yeah, that's the perfect word there. Embrace that. Like, it's super important, and it's also super empowering. You know what I mean? Like, at some point in time, rather than some of these folks on the wall, somebody's gonna be like, "Yo, Affy's the coolest dude I ever met. I rock with." You know what I mean? And it's a real thing because, and I'm sure you see it. You did one summer camp here, but there's kids from that summer camp who will never forget you, and they see you everywhere, and they'll be like, "Yo," and they get, you see their eyes light up when they see you.
I will say, when I was doing summer camp here, when it was live, it was live. Yeah.
Summer camp will take you through the motions.
Tell me about it.
It'll take you through the motions,
man.
man.
It was something. It was something.
Summer camp will definitely take you through emotions,
For
man.
sure. Oh yeah, sorry. Were you?
No.
I kind of wanted to say something that's been on my mind recently.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about how when you were initially starting out the program and like I was helping you out with like the music and everything, I find that like my creative outlet has changed over the years. Like when I was younger, I was a bit more like hands-on drawing. Around the time that I was like late high school to like 2022 maybe, I was delving more into poetry, you say rap, all that. Now it's more like video production, but in essence, it's all with the purpose of like creating. It's just in different forms, you know. And like a part of my like testimony about that is just like experimenting, just finding things that I'm passionate about, and just finding things that I want to create with. And what I love about that so much is that like in different phases of life, you'll be drawn to different forms of outlet, or you might stick with the same one for your entire life. It's like it's different for everyone, but I know because you have such a strong connection to music. I know you would resonate with that.
No, like, so I love the arts in general, right? As a creative, I think it's important to love arts in general,
Yeah.
to experiment with stuff. Um, and I think it's important to embrace the fact that as a person you will evolve. So sure, you might rap for the next 50 years, or in 5 years you might be tired of that and want to do film. Who knows?
We don't know.
But and I feel that's something where I struggle with myself is identity, right? It comes to a point where you start making that your identity versus something that you do. I'll forever be a rapper, whether I write a song or not. I am that, right? I'm also a writer. I'm also a filmographer. I'm also a director. I put on a lot of hats. I'm not Scorsese. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm a to that level, but I do create. I do direct. I do produce. I do all of these different things, and it's because I have interest in those different things.
And it doesn't have to be perfect either.
It's like, what is perfect?
Yeah.
Right?
As long as you're happy with what like.
The important thing to take notice of is you have an intrigue for something. right? It's the same thing. You're intrigued by something, ask some
Explore
questions, explore it. Exactly, right? Sometimes the questions you ask are of yourself,
Yeah.
right? Who knows what it inspires?
Who knows where it'll take you?
I remember years ago during COVID, I did Vibe Alone Mondays, where I'd sit in the staircase and I'd do some verses from songs that I recorded without the beat, just the verses, because I was like, you know what, I really want to focus on lyrics, and I want people to focus on my lyrics and not get caught up in the beat. And I was never given direct credit,
Mm-hmm.
but I can see the folks that were inspired by what I did because they did similar things,
Yeah.
right? That's dope to me. You know what I mean? Like, that was also part of me realizing the power that I have, the influence that I have, right? Um, you got to try stuff. This podcast is something different. This is where my art has transitioned to now. Is more the art of conversation, right?
Art of conversation.
Because it's no different than when I'm rapping, except for sometimes things get missed because you're caught up in the cadence, so you're caught up in the beat, and you're not really paying attention to the words of it. This kind of makes you lock in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, there's less persona in a platform like this. It's more honesty. This is just stating why I'm preferring podcast over music.
Yeah.
At this point, which is something else I was talking about on the previous one with Nicholas, is the fact that I think that's where art is kind of struggling, is because so many folks are focused on recreating stuff, and it's funny because I saw an interview with a dude talking about the same thing. No names, no blames. I ain't gonna say no more celebrity names on here, but talk about the same thing, and it's like people are trying to be the next Tupac or be the next Michael Jackson or be the next uh, whoever, and it's like, nah, be the first you. Please introduce me to the first you. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Who cares? But let me see, because it's part of the reason why right now, like, I absolutely love hip hop. I do through and through. But I can't listen to it because everybody's trying to sound like the next person and do the best. Like, everybody's trying to be the best trapper and everybody's trying to be the biggest and the baddest and this and this. It's like, that ain't you. And I know that ain't you because when certain situations pop up, the real you pops up. You know what I mean?
I feel like there's definitely charm and authenticity. Charm in just being yourself, just unapologetically yourself.
Right? But unfortunately, people try to be charming.
You said what?
But unfortunately, people try to be charming.
Oh, okay.
Right? You might be a charming person, you might not.
But
But
you just gotta let it be natural. Just
be
let it flow.
natural, right? And gravity works. Like, gravity works. With the folks that a lot of folks don't realize that persona, like when I talk about gravity working and when I talk about manifestation and when I talk about the power you have, when you put on a persona, that persona you put on magnetizes all of the things
That you
that that persona brings, right? So I remember I was talking with one of my young guys or whatever, and I was like, man, name your favorite artist, and I'll tell you exactly how what they talked about came to fruition for them, right? And in so many cases, it's exactly what it is. Oh, you want to talk about gunplay all the time? Guess what? They ended up getting shot. Big surprise. They end up getting going to jail for a gun charge. Big surprise. That's part of your persona. They ended up getting overdosing on something. Big surprise. You talk about doing drugs all the time.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we take for granted the power that we have over our own lives by buying into the hype of stuff and pursuing that rather than just pursuing who you are. Maybe you weren't meant to be a rapper. Maybe you're meant to be a podcaster, or maybe you're meant to be the weatherman. Or maybe you're meant to be the plumber.
You never know until you just experiment.
You never know,
Yeah.
right? You might.
I feel like I just want to comment on too. Idols. I feel like it's cool to acknowledge, like if someone does something well, I feel like it's always cool to acknowledge that, you know.
Absolutely.
But that's what works for them may not work for you. You just gotta find your own flow.
Absolutely. I know I saw I be on IG and stuff. See, this is what I'm saying. I still got stuff to work on. I be on IG scrolling and stuff, and I saw something the other day. And it's this. I'm gonna say a woman because she was definitely in her mid 20s. I want to say, but she was talking about her upbringing, and certain things like her father never liked seeing her in front of the mirror for more than a reasonable amount of time, and just sitting there like playing with her hair, and it's like use the mirror to get yourself prepped to go where you're going, and that's about it. No makeup until she was in her like 20s, like I want to say 1920s, the first time she got to deal with makeup and whatnot. But the one thing that resonated the most was
Was this from the daughter's point of view, or
the daughter was speaking about her and now as an adult seeing what it was and being grateful for it, right? And she's like, one of the things that she remembers was her dad always don't get caught up in compliments. Because I think she said, I can't remember how old she was, but she was young, and somebody was like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, whatnot. She was thinking, she's like, why would all the smile and think, oh, you said I was beautiful? So you don't know that? You don't know you're beautiful already? Somebody has to tell you, and now you feel beautiful? Like, no, you're beautiful. Know that. That's why you don't need that makeup. Like, as you were made, that is your beauty. And I say that because I don't feel like people embrace their beauty enough. They embrace the idea that is presented of beauty, but their actual beauty, they don't embrace that enough.
Idolizing another idea of beauty, but like you just gotta embrace that self beauty from within.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. How do you behold yourself?
Wow.
Right? How do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as beautiful?
Yeah.
Like, and if the answer is no, why is the answer no?
There you go. You gotta ask yourself those questions.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really interesting. How her father, I've never heard of that before, but like it makes sense.
It makes all the sense in the world. She was like he'd also make it a point.
A point.
He would make it a point that her and her, like I think she said her and her brother, but her and her brother would view their mother as beautiful, and hear, like, he would call his wife, their mother, beautiful all the time, but he'd do stuff like, kids, come here, hurry up, come here, what dad, what's going on? Look at your mother, isn't she beautiful? Like, isn't she beautiful? And they, at the time, they'd be like, you call us all the way here for that? But in growing up, it was like, it set a different example, because she didn't bother with makeup. There was different points in time. It wasn't when she was all jazzed up or whatnot. Just on her everyday, natural everyday, he looked at her as beautiful and reinforced that. For the daughters, for the wife, for just reinforce, look at you. It's lost. We look at, like, young men. I said it in one of my songs. I remember having this conversation with a person who's like, yo, like, as a black man, like, if you ain't got your jewelry on your thing, man, you ain't got no value. And it's never, that thought has never left me. That is genuinely the way a lot of people view it. And when you look at society, it shows. Because you see, dude, need a Maserati, needs a this, and got the drip check. Let me see the drip. The $350 on the shoes, $1,000 on the pants. For what? My opinion, it looks like an ugly fit, but do you?
Mm-hmm.
But for what? And why do I need to know?
Vanity.
Got it. You're trying to sell. Got it. You're trying to make yourself valuable to me, so I view you valuable.
Yeah.
How about the end of? How about the person you are? Are you a good person? Are you thoughtful? Are you accountable? Are you caring? Are you courteous? Are you nurturing? What about all of those things? Same thing in pursuit of partners. Like I remember talking with a dude, and he's like, "Man, I'm tired of getting with all these ratchet people's da da da." And I'm like, if I got to be honest with you, you're wearing I want a ratchet woman uniform right now. I'm trying to mind my language right now because I don't want to do all the language editing and stuff. But you're wearing the uniform of somebody who wants a ratchet woman. You know what I mean? Like you've got the branded belt shown with the thing all over it. You got the shoulder bag that's branded and thing. You got the glasses that's branded and thing. You got the like, who are you advertising for?
Personally, I've never really understood it.
Right? Like it's where are you going when you're meeting these folks? Like you want a good girl. You say that you want somebody who's considered a good girl, but you're going here. What makes you think that the girl that you is going there? That's not where you're gonna find the person. And that goes again back to, okay, why am I going there? If what I'm trying to find is here, I need to stop going there. Right? I need to maybe stop dressing like such.
Gotta take a moment to just stop and think.
Right? What is your motivation for what you're doing?
It for?
Right? What are you associating yourself with?
Why are you trying to be like this thing or this individual? For what purpose?
But it comes with the ID. You could scroll. I saw a post this morning talking about they did a study. Can't remember what part of the world it was, but they did a study where they had people go off of Facebook, go off of Instagram for I think it was like a week or so.
A week?
I think it was like a week. It might have been a little bit longer, but I know for sure a week was one of the metrics. I think after a couple weeks, they were checking it after so long, but after a week, depression, anxiety, there's all of these different things dropped.
I can tell you why.
It's,
They stop comparing themselves to other people.
right, everything's external. So all these people is drip. You're looking at like again. I grew up on this stuff, so when I'm looking at that and I'm seeing they got C Murder and Silk the Shocker on. He's got a cigar. He got a thing. They look all cold and they whoo. Or I'm looking at Cameron and Dipset and I'm like whoo. I need to be doing it like that. So now that's an image in my mind of how I need to be dressed like and how I need to the jewels I need to have, and it's like
this was I feel like this was like the social media back in your day.
10,000%.
Yeah.
10,000%. Now that was a social media then. Now you got it on your phone on constant. Just endless scrolling, endless posts, endless, and it's and then it's not just that. It's the so you got the people that's on the influencers. Like I travel every day. Look at me. Look, I'm in Jamaica today. Next week I'm gonna be in Hawaii. Month of that I'm in Maui. Then I'm going to Vietnam. And all right, cool. And then there's the folks who's on there like, yo, I just flipped 14 houses. I made thing while you working your job. You must be sick of that. And then there's the mad at the world folks that's on there. And then there's the tragedies and the wars and it's just this influx of information where you don't know how to feel. Because you've gone through all the emotions in 10 minutes.
In rapid succession. It's now I don't want to generalize it as a bad thing because it depends on how you use it.
10,000%.
There, for the most part, I feel like there's just like a lot of our social apps. There's just a lot of noise, and sometimes we unknowingly pit ourselves against each other, and we try to be the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
everyone's competing to be the loudest, to be, the most, I guess, like, showy. Sometimes it's okay to just stop making noise and just walk, just leave. That way you just protect your peace. And yeah, you start thinking about the things that truly make you happy, I find.
Like it's. He said there's a competition to be the first one to speak
Come
on
on.
this and this, that, and it's just
Yeah.
like, I strongly feel if everybody was just accountable for themselves, everybody would be a lot
The world
happier.
will be a better place, I would say, especially in our culture.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's kind of how our world works now. I find, or at least like here, where like you need to, like, vanity essentially, right? It's just I find that you kind of just have to come to those conclusions on your own. No one can really make you realize it until you feel it yourself.
I agree 10,000%. You'll
only realize it until you feel empty.
Well, again, this is going back to understanding the power that you have. Like, if everybody's heard this saying, once you put your mind to it, right?
Yeah.
So I was having a debate with a friend about safe injection sites, and whether they're serving their purpose or not, and whether it be more effective to like force rehab on certain people or whatnot. And my whole stance is, if they don't want to rehab, it ain't gonna matter. If I don't care if you put me in jail for 10 years, but during the whole 10 years, no part of me wants to change. I still think I'm going to be the biggest dope dealer in the world. When I come out of jail in 10 years, I'm going to go try and find some dope to sell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever you put your mind to is what it's going to be. So I can think being a camp counselor here this summer is the best thing for you. If it's not what you're going to want to do,
No, sir.
it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. Like, your mind is that powerful. It'll allow you to do something or completely stop you from doing something. And that's where I feel like the accountability comes in, because if you wrap your mind around the fact that you are somebody, you ain't got to try to be somebody. You ain't got to pursue a status. You ain't got to be the accredited doctor in order to be somebody. No, you are somebody the minute you wake up. You are somebody, but you have to determine who that person is going to be. Are you going to lead or are you going to follow? Are you going to dictate or be dictated to? Right? Are you going to set the tone or are you going to follow whatever? I try to be a tone setter anywhere that I go.
It starts with you first, though.
And it seemed to work for me so far. You know what I mean? When I embrace that role, that I'm going to be a tone setter, that I'm going to be a leader, that I'm going to lead by example, it seemed to work for me thus far. When I was trying to achieve success, it was just unfulfilling. I don't want to say depressing. That was part of it, but it was just extremely unfulfilling. Even the things that I was pursuing and I was good at and I was doing good at, I didn't really care for it. Right? It didn't really give me the same joy as somebody being like, that conversation that we had the other day, it actually like stuck with me. Or even just, every time I see you, you're always just in a cool vibe, man. Like, that just like, it just sets me in a different place, man. And just, reminds me like, why am I tripping for it? Without saying a single word about whatever they're going through. Just being myself and making sure that I'm present in the moment and I'm grateful for each moment, and I'm genuinely grateful for each moment, because I am. That allows somebody else to absorb that energy and translate it into their life. And who knows who they translate that into. Mm-hmm. And then the ripple effect continues from there.
Yeah.
Right? But as society, like I said, we go scrolling down that social media. Can you believe this person said that? Da, da. Yo, what are they doing over here? Yo, the government is this, that. Just mad about stuff, sad about stuff, this, that. And it's like, yo, like,
Too much.
turn that off for a minute.
I actually wanted to share a quote that stuck with me for a while. Don't perform for an audience that isn't watching.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
I love it too. That's why it stuck with me.
My favorite one is work like somebody's watching because somebody always is. And the reality of it is, the big reality of it is, you're the one who's watching, right? A lot of people try to lie to themselves. You know what I mean? Like they again, going back to the work that I had to do the work and understand, like, so we've talked about this before. I'm not a religious person or whatever, but I believe that spirituality and the various forms of it are meant to be guides or parables in a sense, right? And when I hear them talk about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I think that's all you. Right? I think that the spirit is what brings the body to life. I think the inner child, it's your inner child, and you're the father of that inner child, right? And a lot of people haven't really healed that inner child. Like I had to go back and deal with my inner child at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, who had the issues that he had and dealt with what he had to deal with, and acknowledge that really was what it was. You know what I mean? And not only acknowledge it, but apologize for bypassing that like it was nothing, like those feelings weren't real, like that embarrassment wasn't real, that like, no, that was real. And my bad for allowing that to linger for as long as it has. Right? And I don't feel like society has done that enough, where you acknowledge that there is that inner child that you've boxed away for however long in order to perform for this world that we're living in, right? And till this very day, with every breath that you breathe, that inner child is always watching you perform. And they're always looking at you like, how come you're not performing for me? How come I'm not the one who deserves the attention? Why isn't, you're entertaining all of these people based off of their needs and things. What about me? Right? And when I acknowledged that and took that in, then it was always like, all right, cool. Anything that I do, I'm doing for you. Everything I do, I'm doing for that inner child.
And not everyone's gonna understand it.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
and the other beautiful thing, it's and that isn't a rude statement, but it's the reality of it. It's not for them to understand. It's for me to understand. I need to have the understanding of why I'm doing what I'm doing, so I can sleep at night. So me and that child can be at peace in that one and be solid and move whole and allow that to be whatever it is. So if it turns into a gem for you, cool. If it turns into whatever for somebody else, cool. Whatever it happens to be. All I know is that us three, the spirit, myself, and my inner child, we are aligned at this point in time. There is no disruption. There's no person that's interfering with that. I just feel like again, that was a solo mission.
Yeah.
Right? That was the lone wolf said, but everybody else, I'm about to lose my mind here. I need to regather myself. I can't lose my mind. I can't lose that. I can lose money. I can lose a house. I can lose cars. I can lose clothes. I can lose respect. All of that. I can't lose this. I can't lose the respect I have for myself.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
But as you said, that's nothing you can force on anybody. You can't look
Absolutely
at anybody and be
not.
like, "Yo,
No.
deal with your inner child." Be like, that's got to be a conversation you got to be ready for yourself.
And that's just also everyone having their own time in life,
Absolutely.
their own timing, their own seasons,
Which is the only thing that matters. Your time is your time.
Yeah.
My time is my time.
which is why you can't impose anything on anyone.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. It's funny. The young guys are supposed to. No, they're not going to come through. They're going to go play some ball. But I know I want to. Every so often, I might mention something here and there. Like I love mentioning The Power of Now. That's one of my favorite books. This one right here. This one's dope. Racial trauma recovery, and healing our past through rhythm and processing. So when I started doing that shadow work for myself, that technique of rhythm and processing that's highlighted in this book is what I was doing, and I had no idea I was doing it. So when I got to speak with the author and he was explaining it to me, I was amped because I'm like, yo, I was doing that. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but that's what I was doing. It
Unknowingly.
unknowingly, and it
Yeah.
works. Like it really, really, really works. So like this book here. Shout out David Archer. There's his face. Can you see that? Hold on, let me do that. Oh no, that's too close. No, that's good. Okay. Shout out to David Archer. Shout out to Donna Harrow for providing the opportunity. But like, I say that to say, Michael Beasley was recently on Club Shay Shay, right?
I haven't seen it.
It maybe like a week it's been out or whatnot. But I was intrigued. This is where YouTube Shorts were. One of the shorts came by and he was talking about, and he was talking about something, and especially for me personally, anytime that I see a grown man in tears and crying, I want to get the full context of what's going on,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
And I watched that interview, and Mike Beasley is a perfect example of DMX was somebody who was like this. Somebody who society paints a picture of, and then you get to know them. And then once that image that society has painted is gone, and you get to know the person, I actually become impressed by their character. It was a reminder to me of how important it is to understand your character and know your character and not allow it to be swayed and not allow people to sway your opinion on other people's character.
And I feel like that comes from even small moments of just allowing yourself like 30 minutes or the day to just breathe, do something that you want to do, learn something new about yourself, take a walk, read a book, pray even if you have to. I feel like it comes from those times of just being alone, and when there's no noise around you, you find out things about yourself that you wouldn't have if you were in environments that were swaying your attention in all kinds of different places. But yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, no, you got to be able to sit with yourself, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. We like to,
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
we like to distract ourselves with things. You know what I mean? Meditation is important. Getting out in nature is important. I love to go by water and sit down by water whenever I get a chance.
Say it again. Come on.
You know what I mean? Or like I'll sit and I'll talk to trees. I'll sit in the grass and just look at the sky or watch animals. I love watching animals. Like, and I'm not talking about people walking their dogs. I mean like squirrels and ducks and geese and rabbits, and like I just love watching bugs, spiders. Like I love watching nature naturally do nature things.
Because they ain't thinking about all that.
Not at all. Not at all. Like I remember on an earlier podcast I was talking about water and be water, and one of the comments was, "Man, you're getting way too deep into the way that I'm thinking about it, because I'm like, well, what's water's personality? And they're like, nah, just be water, go with the flow. But I'm like, yeah, I get that, but in society, people just go with the flow all the time. That doesn't necessarily solve any problems or create anything. The deeper aspect of being like water to me is like, when you talk about water, there's different forms of it. There's salt water. There's, you know what I mean. There's rivers, water. There's oceans. There's lakes. There's the sea. There's ponds. There's tap water. There's all these different forms. But a drop of water, I don't think, has a consciousness or personality where they're like, yo, why am I over here in the lake when such and such is over living his life in the ocean? And just out there in the ocean, just swirling around and stuff, and I'm here in this lake, splashing on this rock, and now I'm about to evaporate and go up to the sun. My life sucks. I don't think water has that thought.
That type of consciousness. It's just water.
Water's just water. But as people with our consciousness, it's, why is Affy getting all the opportunities and things? How come AP's only looking at Affy and want to give Affy the things, and AP don't really check for, so how come they don't check for me? I'm going through this, that, and the third. Like, you got life.
And it's so easy to fall into that too, man. It's super easy to fall into that. But you got to check yourself when it happens, because it happens to all of us.
It's almost like the default.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like that ego.
It's that. It's. I feel like it's part of wanting. It's wanting to be a part.
There you go.
Right? Because I know there was a point in time where, and to this day, I still kind of do it. Like, I won't speak on my successes around certain people, or things that I'm excited about around certain people, because one, it makes them feel bad, and then two, they make me feel bad for it. Like, I'm wrong.
I would say context also depends. You said certain people, so that's taken into account context. So,
right? So certain people, like, I can't look at them and be like, yo, I just got this contract with and blah, 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 and I'm looking forward to blah, blah, blah. Lucky you, man. I wish I got opportunities like that, man. And it's like,
we gotta uplift each other, man.
It's like, hold on. Do you know how many years of work and how many things, like, how much I've actually done to earn this opportunity? I don't get anything I didn't earn.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not gifted stuff. I earn stuff, which I'm proud of being able to earn stuff. I don't want anything that I don't earn, right? But that mentality, I think, just is infectious, and folks just feel like they should be gifted things.
Entitled.
You know what I mean? Like, I should be able to. Why? Because they did. You don't, like, same thing. Like, folks are like, yo, Affy's looking like he's getting bigger and stronger and thing, man. Like, what are you doing? Affy's working.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Affy's working. Like, Affy, like, Oso seems to be able to, Oso seems like he's always in good energy, a good fight. Yeah, because I work on that.
And also, I love that you said that, because it's we put so much attention into work that we can see. There's also so much mental work or emotional work that people do that we don't see. So much recovery from trauma, affliction, like past wounds. Like, the emotional and the mental repair is it's a phenomenon that we don't see, and it's going on inside of us, and that's just as important, if not more, than the exterior.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, because it all starts with the mind. I say it all the time. Like, every day that I come back to this building, there's a part of me that gets triggered from something in the past. And it's my responsibility to not fall into that space and maintain the mindset I feel best drives the mission forward at this point in time. Right?
Sorry, say it again.
So, like, I'll come to the building and be reminded of something that I went through when I was here, or see somebody, and initially it might trigger a certain response, but then I have to go to that mental space and be like, nah. What's the actual reality? I know what you might feel. I know what you remember, but what is the reality now? How do we move forward with this reality now? What's the best, like, is it best for me to get upset about this? Is it best for me to get sorrowful? Is it best for me to be happy? What is the best form for right now?
And a part of that is also acknowledging that the other person has also probably gone through their own process since then too.
Every
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's going through something at some point in time, and it would be a disservice to them and me to assume where they're at in their process.
There you go.
Right? It's if I'm really concerned, then I need to find out where they're at and try to meet them there, or do my thing and try and pay no mind. Right? Something else that I battle with is caring enough or caring too much. What's the healthy balance?
I want to ask, what specifically?
General.
How much are you like intentionally putting on your shoulders?
Like, so, and it's been brought up to me. I battle with it or whatnot, but I'm an empath in the sense of, if you're going through something and you express that to me, I take on that energy.
Okay.
Right? And I feel it incumbent on myself to try and do something to assist. Right? But in reality, I might not have the capacity to do that. I might not be capable of assisting.
Yeah.
Right? And in some cases, I could provide an assist by sitting and having conversation, or consoling and providing a hug, or providing finance if needed or whatnot. And in those some cases, that might be enough. In some cases, it's never enough. Right? Because it part of that depends on where that person is. Right? So I'm constantly in a battle of, do I help here or do I not? Do I extend the hand? Do I not? Because
How much do you want to
sometimes
invest?
you extend,
Yeah.
and then it turns into a dependency. Or sometimes you extend and, you know what, I'm good. Thank you for that. That was just all I needed. And that helps motivate them to do their own thing from there. Right?
Crazy.
I got one of them young people's trying to get into my office. I wonder who it is. But yeah, like, and then I'm also aware that sometimes I might, because I'm concerned about it, I don't extend, and it's somebody I should have extended for. Right?
I get that.
So it's that balance. It's that fine line of when I say knowing how much to care, it's that. Right? It's I gotta try and pick my spots, and I battle with that a lot. I battle with that a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I get that. Discernment. I would probably just say to that, make sure you're good with make sure you're good with yourself and the comfort that that you give others. Make sure you're comfortable in that. For it to truly, for your actions or words towards them to truly mean something for yourself, I would say. Cause like, yeah, I just feel like it's important to just generally make sure you're straight first. And then of course, if you feel inclined to, if you feel the if you feel the conviction to, yeah, just lend a hand.
I mean, that's generally how it is, but
Yeah.
I just say that because there's certain, again, speaking about naivety and whatnot, there's certain points and times where I'm like,
Full circle.
that person is taking advantage of me right now. You know what I mean? There's other points and times where I felt bad. I'm like, you know what, man? I should have actually helped that person out right now.
It's like I'm sure it's something that just comes with wisdom. you just know the right amount to give.
You'd hope. I think it's just ebbs and flows, and I just hope to get it more right than I do wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
That's good. That's good.
I think we kind of spoke on it in general, but I strongly feel that a successful society is going to have to be a accountable society versus a politically run society. And the reason I say that is because of something that you said, which is you got to take care of yourself first. Right? And as somebody who is fully accountable for myself, I don't want to be accountable for anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, even when it comes to my kids, like, I'm responsible for them. And I'm accountable to them to an extent, but at the same time, and I said this to my lady the other day when we were talking, I'm here to be an assistant, not a guide.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whatever you decide to do, I'm going to try my best to assist you at doing that. But in no way, short form, or fashion am I going to try and steer you in any direction.
Yeah.
And so I know this kind of came out of nowhere, but something you said just kind of
you're good.
Reminded me of a conversation I was having with a friend, and I'm just like, I don't trust political leaders because I feel they're all incentivized for their own thing, right? And if you're telling me that I should focus on myself first, then how am I going to be in a government office and put the people first? There's way too many different people to try and please. That to me just seems like an absolutely impossible task.
Yeah.
That I'm going to step into. I'm going to step into this role of government and I'm going to make all the people happy. How? All of these people have different ideas and agendas, and then there's corporations, and those people got their ideas and agendas, and there's the middle class and the lower class, and nobody could agree. And it's like, how?
Yeah, it's a bit messy there.
Right? Especially without getting into a dictatorship. Right? Or worse off, I step into office, the person that was there previous was there for 2 to 4 years. And now I got to try and completely 180 what they were doing because I didn't agree with it. But I get like 6 to 8 months before the public starts outcrying because they're not saying it's working. And it's like, how do you expect to reverse 4, 8, 12, 25, whatever amount of years in a year? How do you expect me to do that?
You're just one person.
Right? At some point in time, you got to find that person and be willing to stick with that person for a duration to actually see things turn around.
Let him cook.
But how do we know it's the right person? And what happens if we let the wrong person cook for too long? Right? So like what is the perfect system? We have an election every 2 to 4 years. But then 2 to 4 years isn't enough time to turn anything around. But if you're messing up, 2 to 4 years is a long time to be messing up. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know what the middle ground is. I don't know if you have a statement on that or whatever. I just thought about it and just wanted to put that out there.
That's a perspective I haven't thought of. I don't really have my own thoughts on that. But I'm glad you presented it. Gave me something to think about.
I like to answer the tough questions.
Yeah, no, that's... When you think of it like that, I mean, like executives, they have teams and stuff to like help them with like decision makings and like putting plans into action. But I mean, yeah, for the entire population, completely doing a 180 from like potential decades of, I don't want to say misalignment, but like, you know, things not being exactly as they're supposed to be. It's a lot for like a group of people.
It's a
Yeah,
tall
it's a
task.
lot.
Even in like, we just talk about a corporation and having board members and whatnot. Board members don't all get along.
Yeah, I mean,
And
there's that too.
depending
Yeah.
on how many shares you got,
I was
your say
assuming
might weigh more than mine's. And
I was assuming perfect harmony, but like, yeah, it's probably
it's not a reality.
yeah.
and I've worked in enough places to know like every workplace has its discourse. Every nothing is perfect anywhere. It's just about how willing are you to work through it and work with each other on it. You know, and
Is the objective bigger than your like personal like disagreements?
right? And like, so when it comes to politics now, like the overall consensus isn't everybody being happy. It's I don't make enough. I want free health care. I think there should be less taxes. I think people should get taxed more. I think housing should be free. I think housing should be restricted to only who can afford it. I think that everybody's on their own way for what they want personally for themselves.
It's too many different demands. You know. Yeah.
How do we come to a common ground?
How do we come? Yeah.
Right.
How do we meet in the middle? Wow, that's good. That's good.
These are the questions I be asking myself on a regular basis. And not only that, but how do I contribute towards the solution?
And I mean, if you wanna, you can even bring that to a smaller scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
To community, right? I guess it's like, just to go back to your question that you asked me about, like getting youth to be more a part of stuff. It's like, what opportunities are presented to them, and where do they have to meet in the middle to get those opportunities? It's like, how do we make? How do you make this work? Essentially,
And I know one of my biggest battles with programming is like, man, not everything I have I can give you an honorarium for or a gift card for.
that's the tough part,
Right? Sometimes I need you just to show up. And then based off showing up, then maybe I can get some dollars to provide something for you. But not everything is gonna come with a gift card to get you into the building.
And
you know what I mean?
It's what you mentioned earlier about like, we feel entitled, right? We feel entitled. We feel owed for everything we do. But I don't really think that's a very healthy mindset to have, because then you're gonna start viewing relationships more as transactional, not really like coming out of a genuine love, a genuine care, a genuine I just want to see this better. You know what I mean?
And that's definitely where we're at. Is everything seems transactional. Even relationships right now is everything is transactional. Nothing is really genuine. I'm not gonna hold you, sir. We've been here.
How long we been here for?
Jeez. Well, we've officially been recording for 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, we've officially been recording for 2 hours. It's just after 2 right now. Yeah, it's about 2:20 right now. So this is a light conversation though, when you really think about it, because we've definitely gotten.
Once we've been here like
deeper.
4 hours. Something crazy. 4 hours.
Trust me. Like, we've been here for hours upon hours talking certain days, miss appointments, late for stuff.
Oh my God.
But
I'm flattered.
Nah, man, it's been a dope conversation. I'm sure it won't be our last.
Absolutely not.
but
I just won't see you for a minute.
It'll be a little minute, man. I got a little contract I got to go deal with, which I just got an email about it right now that I got to check out. But yeah, man, I'm sure we'll have a conversation again.
It was a pleasure.
Love to have you on the platform again.
This was good.
I think so. And more importantly, I hope that this circulates around the community and inspires some more folks to sit down and share their ideas, man, and not be afraid to speak. And they I remember you were like, yo, I don't know if I'd have anything to say, but folks can drop it in the comments, or they can let you know when they see you. I think you had a lot of insightful gems that you just spilled on the podcast right here. So
I'm gonna be honest, I was just bouncing off of you. I was just bouncing off your ideas.
I mean, but that's what it is, and it's reciprocal. That's the same thing. Oh, that is one other thing that I'll say is focus more on what you give versus what you get, and then ironically you end up getting more.
In here.
It's just funny. However you want to look at it. Like we were just talking about me getting a contract, man. Like I worked my ass off for years, and I'm getting rewarded for it. You know what I mean? I'm getting compensated properly for the amount of work that I put in over the years. I've earned it. You know what I mean? I could probably demand more, but I'm not. I don't care to demand anything. What is meant for me is for me.
How much? I want to ask you, how much of that work was unpaid? How much of that was you going out of your way?
Like in all honesty, some of the work was actual work, so I was actually being paid.
Yeah, of course.
But one thing you can't pay somebody for is their effort level. And because I know I'm watching, I don't slack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I put my full effort, I put my full care into stuff. And that's the above and beyond that is recognized. Is like, doing the summer camp here and doing the camp counselor thing and LIT thing, like people are entrusting me with their children. I don't take that lightly. You know what I mean? Like, I take that to heart. I take that responsibility for real, and I treat them as if I would treat my kids if they were with me, right? And I think, some people, it was too much for them. I'm a little too strict for them, or I'm a little too, and other folks appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's all, man. I think that's what gets recognized for me. And that's the above and beyond. Whether I'm paid or whether I'm not. If I'm same thing I say about you. Whether I'm getting paid or whether I'm not, if I agree to do it, you're going to get my max effort on it. You're going to get my max attention. And that's what I feel gets recognized. Mm-hmm.
You dropping bombs today, bro.
That's it, man. That's it. But yeah, no. It's your boy Oso, in case you ain't know so. Shout out to Affy. It's been another Culture on Culture convo. Until the next time.